You want to sell your art online, but aren't a fan of graphics tablets or digital pencils. Hey, you're old school, pen, paint, paper. It does feel a lot better. I get it, but don't let that hold you back from turning your passion into a profit. What's going on, folks? It's your pal Talish here, and if you're not familiar with how to digitize your art for print on demand, then here's a quick guide on what you need to know to get your art online. Whether you have a painting or a sketch, the first thing you need to do is get it on a computer. That means having to take a high-quality picture of it, which you can do in two ways, either laying it out on a scanner or taking a photo of it with your phone or a professional camera. Now, scanners are easier and faster and get better results, so we definitely recommend that. But your phone will also do in a pinch. Now, if you are using a scanner, the key is to make sure you're getting an image that's 300 dpi. DPI stands for dots per inch, which is important for printing to make sure you get the best quality. 300 dpi is an industry standard, but the larger you want to print, the more dots you need per inch. Your scanner's color mode should also be in CMYK and not RGB. To learn why, click here. If you're working with a camera or a phone, however, things get a little bit more complicated. Your art has to be well lit, preferably in a daylight environment to avoid any shadows or blowouts. Then make sure you get as close to your art as possible while keeping all of it inside the shot. And if you happen to be taking pictures of multiple images that you'll combine into one later, keep your camera at the same distance from all of your sketches so the lines are all equal. Now, once you've got your image on a computer, it's time to clean it up and make it pop. If you're using Photoshop, I'll show you just how to do that in a few easy steps in just a sec. But if you're curious about other programs that can help, I'll share those with you too right after this. So look, right off the bat, I'm gonna let you know that I am a basic Photoshop user. And if I can do this, you can do this too. So don't be afraid. These steps are actually very, very simple. So here's the illustration that I have, and what we're essentially trying to do is get rid of everything around it and just keep the illustration itself. So we have to try to remove as much of this white space or extra space that we have that we don't need. And the first thing that we're gonna do is use our marquee tool, which is the second tool that's kind of like this rectangular shape on your side panel. And I am just gonna select right around the edges of my illustration here. And I'm gonna get rid of it. So right now I've selected the illustration, but I wanna select everything around it. So I'm gonna right click and choose the select inverse. That's telling Photoshop not the stuff inside, but the opposite, right? And delete, and there we go. But as you can see, we still have the elements around and inside our illustration, and that's what we're gonna work on now. But to do that, we're gonna use a different tool, and that is your magic wand. And that is the third, or actually your fourth tool on the side. And first thing you're gonna wanna do is set your tolerance to about 30. That's a pretty decent number. And uncheck this contiguous box here, because that's telling Photoshop that you also wanna get rid of the white elements on the inside of your illustration as well. So there you go, I got my magic wand ready to go. I'm gonna choose it. When I tell Photoshop eventually that I want to delete all this stuff, it's going to still leave a white outline around my image, and that is what we have to get rid of. So the next thing you want to do is go up to your top menu, hit select, then go down to modify and click expand. What you're telling Photoshop to do here is actually to cut into your image just a little bit so that we really get rid of all those white outlines. So about 1 or 2 pixels should do, but zoom into your image. If there's still a white outline, you might want to expand it a little bit more. But right now, I'm gonna go with 2. Now, if I zoom into my image a little bit, I will see that the edges of my lines are jagged. They're very pixelated. And if you look closely, you can also see that we've cut into the image already, which is what we've done, which is great. But if I were to put this on a product and blow it up, those jagged edges are really gonna show. So we wanna smooth that out. And the way to do that is almost the same workflow. You go up to select, you go to modify, but this time we choose feather. And what that's doing is it's gonna blur the edges of the line so that it kind of looks a bit more cohesive. It doesn't look as jaggedy as it would if you didn't do that. And really, at this point, 1 pixel will do. Great. Everything's selected, and I'm just gonna delete. So now I've done everything that I've needed to do. I've taken my illustration off the background, I've got it isolated. The last step is to put it in a file format that works for our markup generator. Quick way to do that on Photoshop is just go to File, export, and you'll see right at the top it says quick export as PNG, and that works beautifully for us. So I'm gonna click that, save it, and there you have it. It's ready to go. Now you can upload this on our mockup generator and start putting it on any product you want to. But if you aren't familiar with editing and design programs like Photoshop or Illustrator, there are a couple free options that can help clean up and vectorize your illustrations. Inkscape, which is a free software that turns illustrations into vector graphics pretty easily. GIMP, which is an open source program that's programmable to adjust to your needs, also for free. And CorelDRAW, which is a paid program but is very user-friendly and has a free trial period. And if you're looking for more of those resources, check the description below. If used properly, your art and creativity can be your greatest assets, so it's best to shore up your technical knowledge and get them to where they need to be. But with so many different types of art out there, the methods to digitize them can be a little different. So with this guide, we will set you up with the basic principles you need to be familiar with. Don't be afraid to test and feel out which of these processes work best for you and your art. And the best way to do that is to subscribe to Printify and check out all our other tutorials. And don't forget to like this video and leave us a comment below if you have any questions, and we're ready to help you on your journey to success with print on demand.